Welcome back to the hustle and welcome back to the grind. Although it's not so much a hustle or a grind today because when you're retired, every day is a holiday. Yes, as we wake up here Monday morning, life's grand. It's cold outside. We're still at minus 30. But the beauty is I don't have to necessarily go anywhere. Now it's a long weekend and for some people this is a long weekend. It's a day off, a day to kind of wind down and stay off work. Obviously, most people work 5 days a week. And so when you have these extra days, Monday, a stat holiday or a special day off because of some government or a special day, then it just seems nice. It seems wonderful. It seems to drop your stress levels another layer because 2 days often in a given week are not enough. I mean, quite often when you're working and you're in the middle of your career, you quite often feel that, Monday through Friday, Monday, everybody's dreading going back to work. You get in the office, you get back at it and you're doing your thing and it ramps up. Usually by Wednesday, Thursday, you're at your peak as far as productivity, mindset. You're back in the game, you're moving, you're shaking, you're getting those tasks done. But then come Friday, everybody's waiting to dive off and just can't wait to get home. It's nothing but tail lights and dust. It's home time, 4:30, 5 o'clock on Friday, whatever it is, and it's 2 strips of black rubber on the asphalt as you race out of your workplace. Absolutely hilarious how this happens day in, day out, 365, 52 weeks of the year. And when you're retired, those things don't actually happen anymore. And it's great, it's wonderful. Now, you get these highs and these lows. And when you're working, the highs are obviously holidays, vacation, Friday afternoons, heading for off of work. Those are the peaks. Then the lows and that Sunday night slump, right? As you start to anticipate your next week. And it's a tough one, right? We've all been there. We've all had those Sunday night blues where you're worrying about tomorrow, the big job, you have a meeting with your boss, you have these tasks you've got to do or some deliverable, maybe a presentation. Maybe your boss told you next week you're digging that big hole. Whatever it is, you've got this insurmountable thing in your head going around and around telling you that, oh boy, next week is going to be a rough one. So that's the thing. And that's a big element. And that's something a lot of people, once you retire, you sort of give up on that. You have a lot less of those to-dos, need to be there, scheduled times, meetings. You don't have that. And so sure, when you're retired, you have other things. Maybe you're meeting with, some family members. Maybe you have a dentist appointment. Maybe you have other things that take your time. But those are one-off little spotty events. Having these days off, every single day off, feels like that special statutory holiday or that special day off. And, when you have those highs, you have those extra days off. When you're working, it's wonderful. It's almost like a dopamine hit. You get this hit, you get this short-term gratification of excitement and thrill and what are we doing today and all of this greatness, followed by this big drop. And it's a lot like the same dopamine hit when you're buying your goodies and why a lot of people end up spending a lot of their money on junk that they don't need is because it's this short-term hit gets you excited, but that only lasts for a short period of time. It's like buying that new TV. I want a TV, I want a TV. You spend 6 months, 8 months shopping for the best TV, the specifications, you're enthralled, you're engaged, you're dialed right in, you're focused, and you're doing everything in your power to get sort of dialed right into that whole concept of buying that new TV. And it's this ramping up period. Then you, of course, that day comes, you go, you spend your hard-earned dollars, the TV gets shipped to your house. You set it up. It's wonderful. You should turn it on. Look, it's a nice picture. It's glorious. 2 months later, it's no big deal. So then obviously the dopamine hit, everything drops. And so this is life. This is life when you're working. You have these highs and these lows, these working days, weeks, and then these weekends. And everything just kind of comes and goes. And it's a wonderful thing when you're retired because you have less of this and you have a lot more of this. Okay? There are those little events, there are those moments, and certainly there are other challenges in life, but it is certainly nice having those days off. And today I just wanted to reflect because in fact it is a stat holiday. We're going to be spending some time. My wife's got the day off. Of course, that's wonderful. Normally on a Monday she'd be working. We'd be meeting together again at come 5 o'clock. But you know what? we're spending a time today together. And this is the beauty. When you basically retired, you have time to spend doing whatever you want. And when others all of a sudden have that extra day, then they're getting a taste of that. But until you're fully engulfed, it's hard to imagine, you know. Now there are benefits. There's a lot of people that look excited to their next week of work and look forward to it, and there are people that absolutely, you know, get fully dialed right in. They think work. Oh yeah, I can't wait to get back. I'm gonna talk to some of my coworkers, tell them what I did on the weekend, tell them I bought this new thingy, this widget. And there's people that get that excited. And you know, there was times in my career, in my life, in my workspace, where I was that person. I actually was very excited to get to work. I loved my work. I even actually enjoyed a lot of the people I worked with for many years. But it can very quickly change. And when it changes, like it did for me in the last 3 to 4 years, then you soon realize that those extra days off are an absolute godsend. Because quite often, we just get into a place in our career, and there's a time for a lot of us, not all of us, some people just love their career till the bitter end, and that's absolutely great, 100%. And I feel very happy for those that are blessed to have a work environment that they feel that good about it, and they're that excited, and they have work people around them that are great people. And I've had some of that throughout my years. It just, I didn't have it at the end so much because things change. It's life. So when you finally back your way out of that and you're back into a scenario of, you know what, I'm going to spend the time I want to, it just feels so much more rewarding, if I can say that. And so here we are, going to go meet up. We've got a great few things to do today. We've already got some plans. Going to go meet up with actually a good friend of ours. He's also on the inside as far as this new, and I kind of mentioned this before, this new car that I'm basically buying. And you know, we've spoken about this, but this was done 3 years in advance. This was way before, you know, the whole concept of retirement. I was still in the middle of my career. So when I initially purchased, hence here we are. And the car's been on order, and it's coming very, very soon. And I want to get into that because that's more of a conversation about where I was at and where I'm at today. Is actually two different people. Now that being said, ordering this car is very much one of my passions. And you know, I've spoken about this in other videos, and as long as you're within your means, it works. If you're not, well, then that's another challenge. So we're going to go meet up with this friend of ours. Me and the wife are going to grab a lunch, and we're just going to enjoy a wonderful day. It's very cold outside, but the sun's shining, there's no wind, and it looks absolutely glorious. And finally, everybody, it looks like we're dialed in for a week. This week is cool yet, but we're finally going to be, probably by the end of the week, possibly next week, it's supposed to be above zero, so above freezing, and I really hope to be out there cruising along, walking along. And again, just a friendly reminder to each and every one of you that are on the fence. If you can absolutely retire, do it immediately. If you can't afford it, 100%. I know lots of people, and it's a struggle. It really is, with the cost of living, inflation, taxes. It takes a lot out of them, and there's a lot of people that will never retire. And I do consider myself extremely blessed because not everybody can get there. And for me, some of it was extremely hard work. Some of it was discipline. Some of it was a little bit of a focused attention to investments, maybe a little less spending in other ways. But honestly, a little bit of luck in there. There's always a little bit of luck, stock exchange, stock prices, valuations, real estate prices, all these factors come in. The companies you work for, whether you get a pension, there's a bunch of variables, and you know what? That's just I feel blessed. That's all I can say. So I'm just going to leave you on that note. If you can afford to, if you can live within your means, certainly do it comfortably, and you have the finances. Why would you wait to retire? Life is truly short, everybody. And I hope you all have an absolute magnificent Monday morning. We'll talk to each and every one of you tomorrow. See you then. Bye-bye.